Tonight on our news, 54 heads of government from Commonwealth countries descend on Rwanda for CHOGM. Plus, an Atlantis executive is happy that COVID testing for vaccinated travelers will soon be a thing of the past. And a local coach has taken on a Dorian survivor as his own. A beautiful story just ahead of Father's Day. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Leaders from 54 countries are heading to Kigali, Rwanda to meet and discuss common issues at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, among them Prime Minister Philip Davis. The Bahamas delegation is looking to reach across borders for friends in the fight to slow climate change. Our Jerome Sawyer gives us a preview.
Our entrance into CHOGM coincided with independence in 1973. 49 years later, Prime Minister Philip Davis, as the country's fifth Prime Minister, heads to his first Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Kigali, Rwanda. Back in 1985, the Bahamas hosted CHOGM. Then Prime Minister the late Sir Lyndon Pinling was pivotal in the signing of the Nassau Accord, which called on South Africa's government to dismantle apartheid. Nowadays, the world's attention is focused on new tragedies, like those brought on by climate change. And new challenges mean a chance to create new alliances.
There needs to be an organization which speaks up for small island developing states. Bahamas is one of those. So, for example, one of the things we'll be doing at the conference is signing officially diplomatic relations between the state of Tuvalu and the Bahamas. Tuvalu is in the Pacific. It's lost almost half, if not more, of its territory to rising sea levels. The Bahamas has the same existential problem staring it in its face.
Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell will be a part of the Bahamian delegation in Rwanda. In instances like this, he gets to identify the growing Bahamian diaspora and focus on things like lifting more visa requirements.
And one of the things we do want to do as a foreign ministry, the Bahamas, is to give Bahamians a seamless experience around the world so that, if possible, every time you raise that Bahamian passport, you don't need a visa to get into the country.
And then, of course, the many meetings amongst neighbors to address those things benefiting all sides.
We benefit from the cooperation which other countries and the information and knowledge which other countries can offer. And we also can benefit from the capital which they offer, and we can exchange our ideas with them.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jerome Sawyer.
In other news, the Royal Bahamas Defense and Police Forces, along with the Forestry Unit, took Minister of National Security Wayne Munro and Minister of State for Legal Affairs Jomo Campbell on a tour of bushes off Carmichael Road, where alleged illegal activities take place. Jared Higgs was there and has this report.
The first stop was less than half a mile off Carmichael Road, near Bacardi Road. There, 2 school buses and a trailer have been converted into homes. National Security Minister Wayne Munro told the 30-year-old woman living in one of the buses with her 5-year-old daughter the government doesn't believe that she has a right to be on the land.
Clearly, if she's living like this, she needs assistance. And we're not just about to put somebody out who clearly needs assistance.
Meanwhile, the woman, who is employed as a space cleaner, isn't confident that social services will help.
I don't have no other place. I don't have no other choice. I don't have no other place to go. We don't really have family. It's just me and my sisters.
Deeper into the bush, we come across a coal kiln, or coal-making operation. Acting Director of the Forestry Unit, Daniel Hannock, says the manufacturers are mixing treated wood and poison wood with the pine trees. She says the outcome is coal that is potentially unsafe for use.
We are not clear about the risk, the health risk that causes when you inhale the smoke from the charcoal. But we do know that there's a high correlation with cancers, with respiratory challenges in these areas that have high smoke content because of the mixing of the wood especially.
The 8-vehicle convoy went deeper, finding multiple excavation sites. Eventually we came to an area of interest, an illegal firing range. Bullet-riddled derelict vehicles, broken glass targets, and a slew of shell casings litter the area. The colorful casings are from shotguns, officials say. But what about these larger, .556 caliber casings.
Do you think it's safe to say that people are coming out here to test fire illegal firearms, illegal high-powered weapons?
I would think so. I would think so. Definitely it wouldn't be none of the armed forces or government officials. So the multiplicity of firearms and shows that the cartridges they use are illegal ammunition cartridges.
The National Security Minister says after 14 days, clearance and enforcement will begin. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
And police tonight investigating the circumstances around the discovery of a man's body on Arawak Key Beach. Our Megan Shepard has the details.
Residents were casually enjoying a morning swim on Arawak Key Beach Friday morning. Meantime, police were investigating a possible drowning. Police press liaison Superintendent Audley Peters say police received a report shortly after 8 a.m. of a male body floating in waters on the western end of the Arawak Key Beach.
On the arrival of the officers, they found this dark male in the waters. We called on our marine section who retrieved the body from the waters. The scene of crime officers examined the body and there were no signs of trauma. At the moment, we do not classify this as a homicide. We will await an autopsy report to tell us what the cause of death was and the identification by a next of kin.
Police say while the body has not officially been identified, they have been informed that the victim may have been a vagrant that frequents the area.
What we do understand of this victim is that he frequents this area. We do not have a name for him. However, we appeal to members of the family who have a loved one that has not been seen for a while, or who knows that a loved one who frequents this area and has not seen him, to contact the police so that you can assist us in identifying this individual.
When asked about the state of decomposition,
it appears that he was in the water overnight. There was no signs of decomposition and nothing to indicate that he was there for a long time.
Now, as the summer months are officially here and families prepare to spend more time on the beaches, Peters issued this bit of advice.
We know that this area is an area where individuals come and have their libations. We're not suggesting that that might have been the case in this instance or any other instance. However, we ask persons being in an archipelago nation to learn how to swim, to ensure that when they are near the water that they are not under the influence of any type of drugs or alcohol, and to become strong swimmers. If they go to swim with somebody who can assist them if something happens, because sometimes even strong swimmers need assistance when events happen such as strokes or cramps for whatever reason. And so there are some of the suggestions that I would give to persons.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Megan Shepard.
Thanks, Megan. Well, the evening is beginning to cool off in the capital. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with the latest.
Thanks, Christina. Welcome, everybody, for our first look at weather. Another warm day around the islands. Warm this evening still. 83 degrees outside our studios. Just a few clouds. We had a couple isolated showers earlier. East-northeast winds at 9 miles per hour. Your feels-like temperature still hovering up at near that 90-degree mark. Satellite view, high-pressure ridge in charge. We have that weak frontal boundary across the northwest Bahamas, lending some moisture to the northwest islands. Isolated showers and thunderstorms, most of that west of Andros. And as I mentioned, we had one isolated shower here in the capital. We could see one or two more showers later on tonight through tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Thanks, Greg. Why Minister Clay Sweeting says it looks like no local government for New Providence anytime soon. And Atlantis execs are happy that COVID testing for vaccinated travelers will soon be a thing of the past. That's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
A campaign second promise made by the Progressive Liberal Party won't happen this year, according to Minister for Local Government Clay Sweeting, who says government is looking to work out a few deficiencies first. Bethany McDermott reports.
Family Island Affairs Minister Clay Sweeting says local government will not come to New Providence this year as government looks to address deficiencies with local government on the Family Islands. The revelation comes as parliamentarians went through various heads of the 2022-2023 budget.
We have hired 2 consultants on the contractual services to look at local government in its entirety, especially in the Family Islands. We understand that there's many inefficiencies and deficiencies for a long time, and we're looking to fix a lot of those things that is in our blueprint for change. One of those being to provide them with revenue-raising powers and other things. So we're going to make it happen. We already hired the consultants, and hopefully we'll have the new legislation here before end of the year.
In the run-up to the September 16th general election, the Progressive Liberal Party promised to introduce local government in New Providence. Pintard asked if the 2 consultants will address the expansion throughout the country. To that, Sweeting said they, along with a 19-member team, are already meeting with stakeholders on the Family Islands. When asked if local government will not come to New Providence anytime soon, Sweeting said this.
No, you can't say it.
No, I mean, sorry. No, I mean, I'll sit so you can answer on your feet. I just want to understand.
What I'm saying is that I've addressed this many times in the past few months. We understand that there are deficiencies in the Family Islands. We need to fix those to ensure, and I'm sure, Marco City, you have local government in Grand Bahama, and you understand the challenges that we face. And we're trying to find a way to assist them. We understand that funding is an issue.
The plan, he said, is to address the issues before local government is expanded to the capital. The former F&M administration also promised local government for New Providence, forming an advisory committee that submitted a report in 2019. The committee's plan divided New Providence into 5 districts.
So for the record, it's not going to happen this year. Local government in New Providence is not going to happen.
No.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
Well, a senior official at a top resort welcoming the change in testing requirements for fully vaccinated travelers to the country, saying it is expected to be good for business. Our Sasha Lightbourne has the story.
Atlantis' Senior Vice President for Government Affairs and Special Projects, Vaughn Roberts, says he could not be happier about the government's announcement of the elimination of testing requirements for fully vaccinated travelers entering the country and the removal of the travel health visa. The announcements came this week from the health and tourism ministers during their contributions to the budget debate. Roberts says he has been in talks at the management level about dealing with COVID while balancing business operations, so the announcements were well received.
It's a significant change for us in terms of being able now to strengthen our business. We've obviously lobbied with other partners, the government, for many months to work toward a good balance between the science and the economics or the economy. And I think the government has been quite responsive. And this latest move, I think, is a very strong signal that we're open for business, and it really kind of buoys the rebound that we're seeing in our business.
Roberts says the elimination of the testing requirement will only further boost summer projections they had seen in advance of Wednesday's announcements by the health and tourism ministers.
Our summer numbers are very strong. We're returning to 2019 levels, and Atlantis has historically had a strong summer because of our family focus. So again, this will certainly help and lessen the pain for people coming to the Bahamas. But we have seen our numbers grow steadily over the last few months.
Atlantis announced earlier this year it was entering into multi-million-dollar renovations and partnerships designed to refresh its product offering and give guests an upgraded experience. Reporting for Our News, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
Thanks, Sasha. When Our News comes back from the break, let's see how weekend weather is shaping up in our extended forecast with Greg Thompson. And Bahamians from all around the world are celebrating the Golden State Warriors. The details when Our News returns.
Got size at 6'5". this is Salute.
This is our news. Welcome back. Proud Bahamians from around the archipelago and the world celebrating the Golden State Warriors' recent win of the NBA championship. The Warriors seized a series-clinching 103-90 victory over the Celtics in Game 6 of the NBA Finals, closing out the series 4-2. Klay Thompson, a shooting guard, helped to secure that win. Although not born in the Bahamas, Thompson considers himself an island boy, as he is the son of NBA legend Michael Sweetbells Thompson, a forward and center for the Portland Trail Blazers and Los Angeles Lakers. While our news says congratulations to the Warriors, our island boy, Klay Thompson, says this.
A shout out to my Bahamian family in Nassau watching, my family in Vancouver, Washington. I love y'all. Can't wait to celebrate with you guys this summer.
Congratulations to you, Klay.
Go 242. Your weekend weather is straight ahead, and one coach who became a father figure giving a teen another chance in life. All that's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Salute.
Welcome back to our news. We're looking for sunny skies this weekend. Greg, what do we have to look forward to?
Thanks again, Christina. Welcome back, everybody, for our second look at weather. Of course, that ridge of high pressure dominating our weather. The Saharan dust has left us, but we expect another outbreak sometime next week. Weak front boundary to the north of us, generating some isolated showers and thunderstorms across the area. That front will sag towards the south, eventually washing out through the weekend, and that ridge of high pressure will continue to dominate the tropics. We are still watching that area near the Central America. That's basically falling apart. It's moved inland. 10% chance for some formation over the weekend, possibly making it into the Gulf of Campeche. If it does that, it might regenerate again, but it's going to actually affect Mexico. And as I mentioned, the tropics quiet, couple of tropical waves moving across the tropical belt. No organization at this time. Boating forecast for all areas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will fall light and variable, but become variable at 5 to 10 knots tomorrow. Your seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. High tide will be at 10:30 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast for the next 7 days, some isolated showers expected by Sunday, but once that Saharan dust moves in by next week, hot temperatures and quiet weather expected. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe weekend, everybody.
Thanks, Greg. Finally tonight, a Dorian survivor has gotten a second chance to follow his dreams thanks to a coach who has become more than just a mentor by taking the team into his home and becoming a father figure. Jasmine Brown has their touching story in this report.
Coach Kevin Johnson has interacted with thousands of children in his nearly 30-year career as a basketball coach.
It's a passion of mine. God has given me the opportunity to coach a lot of kids.
Coaching a team that played in a once-in-a-year tournament in Abaco is how he came to meet 18-year-old James D'Elia.
He was short and, very athletic and speedy, and I always encourage him to work hard in the classroom and, never know that faith will join us together in terms of his situation.
Those brief interactions had a lasting impact on the young man, who was one of thousands of Abaco residents who lost everything after 2019's monster storm Dorian. Shortly after the storm, he moved to New Providence to stay with his godmother. But James says he wanted to get in touch with the C.I. Gibson senior high coach. Johnson, who has a biological son that is an accomplished swimmer, says when he heard James' story, he knew he had to help.
It was amazing because I was like, wow. I said, I asked my wife why he asked for me. Couldn't fathom it or but I guess because I encourage him so much down in Abaco.
Since then, James has been living with Johnson and his family, and the teen says it's a decision he has never regretted.
Do you think of him as a father figure at this point?
Always. So he always, I feel like ever since I met him, everything went like good. He pushes me all the time, make sure I get my schoolwork done all the time. Every time if I do my schoolwork, from time to time he always asks me how my grades looking. If I check with teachers, make sure I go to study hall and just make sure everything is good.
What I suggest to a lot of our fathers out there, just find the time to help these young men.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Such a beautiful story. Well, thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.